You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in studio, joined today by Randy. What's up, man?
Hey, guy.
I got it. So that's my opener.
The new one.
No names, just no nicknames, just odd opener.
Yeah, strange delays and name drops.
Strange delays. All right, so a couple things happening, guys. We've got the CLA workshop. Our next workshop set for August 6th and 7th. That's what's the URL?
winninggym.com/workshop.
/workshop.
You can lock in your spot there.
We just did a sale for 4th of July. You guys missed it. Sorry. Price went back to normal. But
that was a big one.
And then also we've got our Fitness Growth Summit. That's coming up. It's happening in September, but we're lining up. We're doing some speakers, and we've got a bunch. That's going to be killer. That is going to be awesome. So you're going to probably hear us talk a lot about that. But really the CLA workshops first. So if you're interested in getting automation and you're interested in freeing up time and not having to hire back, say, an admin that you are on the fence about,
Sure.
Leverage automation to take care of that and the employees. I know that one of our Iron Circle members, John Farkas, got rid of his front desk staff. He's leaning on the CLA to do the work.
There you go.
So good for him, saving money. All right, so this topic today is, here we are in a situation where a lot of us have downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're open, maybe you're shut down like us. You've been open and then you got closed, but maybe you haven't even been open yet. What are you doing with your time? And that's really the killer here, is that sometimes you can get stuck in a funk and just do the same things every day, and you're really not moving the needle at all in your business. And this is a great time to sit down, learn what you like, really analyze of what, where you're lacking. Is it the sales part? Is it the marketing part? Is it your operations? And then search out the education for that versus just sitting on your hands and just waiting,
Yeah. And, in our industry, it's real common. Everyone knows, continued education has to take place on the training floor or for the trainers and those taking care of clients. But at the same time, this is the opportunity to look at your business and fix those areas of improvement. And this kind of part of this came to me with after speaking with some of our coaching clients, and just as we start to talk about their normal day, right? Week one of our coaching program, we always get into mindset, and part of that is structuring their day, forcing the tasks that they want to get done and things like that. But in those conversations lately, things are different for the gym owners right now because of the shutdown. And one of the first things that they've come back to me and always say is, well, normally this is what I do. So not only is their day-to-days have changed because of the work, our work has changed to some degree. And I think some of that's obviously inevitable, but at the same time, I want to stress the idea of if you don't practice like you play, how do you expect to perform when the doors are open?
Right.
And so for a gym owner, right, you might not have the time in the gym working, client-facing stuff and doing the normal business operations. But back to our conversation, you have plenty of opportunity to take action to move the needle in your business, to work on systems and processes and the marketing and the sales and all of these other areas that 99% of the time we say, I wish I had the time for. Well, right now you have the time for it.
Yeah, and I feel like probably a lot of gym owners are, and people in general, you get stuck because the problem is so big that you don't want to tackle it.
Paralysis by analysis?
More of being I really don't want to open the Pandora's box because this is going to be a can of worms when I get in here. And I know one of the things is accounting.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was, forever. It was the P&Ls, the cash on hand, everything's looking good. But now I'm really focusing on, we talked about it, profit, and switching over to this profit first method, which we'll talk more in advance, once we get to that point. But for a while, it's a lot of work. And you're like, you know what? I don't really want to do that right now. Or it's not exciting. It's not coaching. It's not selling. It's not marketing. So it's but you know what? It's time. And so for us, we're doing it.
You know what that is? It's perfect. It's the delayed gratification. All of those other things provide an end result right now that feels good. you know, like when you complete that sale or somebody sits down and you're like, oh, I got a new member. Like that's what we do. That's why we're in business, right? Or the result on the training floor, like that client's walking away excited, happy, they just got their ass kicked. Like that's what we're doing. It's not sexy and fun to go work on the systems of your business.
No, but what's really sexy is when you have them in place and then you can do other things.
Yes.
Like there's nothing better to be able to not have to go in. Like if you're not feeling well or you're just not having a great day, you don't have to go into the gym because everything's kind of getting handled for you, or the systems are handling it. That's really sexy.
I think that's like that should be something everybody. We talk about it all the time. Like I don't understand. Maybe it's the entrepreneur mentality versus like, you know, the employee. You know, those that are just really looking for direction and happy to do that job. But I don't understand how everybody doesn't have the desire to have some sort of residual income coming in, or the ability to supplement some of the work without them having to exchange time for money. Because absolutely one of the greatest feelings I've ever experienced is getting paid for work that you've done previously, and it can continue to get paid for without having to put the time and energy in every single time. Yeah,
and that's the tough part. I mean, that's why the gym business is so great. Is you have these reoccurring revenue. I don't know how a bar or a restaurant like if you don't serve the meal today, you're not getting paid, and that's tough.
Absolutely.
Chiropractor, unless you're like I think the Joint Chiropractic kind of figured it out with
they have
like a low cost membership where you get like one a month or something like that. But reoccurring revenue is the lifeblood of cash flow.
I've talked to my physical therapist about this, and about how do you sustain a business when you know that the average visits of your PT business is 8 to 12. Like that's the most time you have with most of these clients coming through your business.
Will only pay for 8 to 12.
Yeah. Well, in your average use, like Jason broke it down for me. I mean, just as far as like the average number of visits that it takes to correct an injury or whatever in that area is about 8 to 12. So that being your potential, and there's so many services that they can provide that could be reoccurring or sustainable. My PT's great at he's a very athletic, conscious therapist. So a lot of his clients are physical or gym goers, that stuff. So the dry needling, like I would absolutely pay a membership for just recovery sessions. On a reoccurring, would have no problem doing it, but that's not a business model. You know what I mean?
Doesn't have it. Yeah. And that's, it's funny. You look at different models out there, and not just in our industry, but you look at different industries and I guess salons, for example. If they don't have the person today, they're doing the work now and they're cutting the hair now and they get paid now, and you hope the person comes back. With the fitness industry, I mean, at least we've got agreements in place and reoccurring revenue. Restaurants are the same way. You don't, you do the work, you get paid, and you move on. So, I think it's as unsexy as it is. I really, totally off topic, but I think storage units are like the best of everything. So you've got real estate, you've got 150 tenants, and you have no people to worry about. They just throw their stuff in there and they lock the door.
And you've got one guy that's there holding the fort down.
How is that not the smartest business operation?
And then here's the best part. They don't pay their bill. It's all your shit.
I know.
You own it all.
You cut it and auction it off. Now you're on a TV show. Storage Wars. Storage Wars. You get
you're a celebrity over here.
You get that Mickey Mantle baseball that's in the corner that's signed.
Yeah, exactly.
You can auction that stuff off. So it just different ways to look at your business. So, fitness has got that covered. They've got the reoccurring revenue covered. But do you have higher service reoccurring revenue? Do you have lower? Do you have one-time sales or program-based 3-month programs? There's nutrition. That's your value ladder. We've hit that over and over and over. If you haven't heard that one, that's not even 4 or 5 episodes ago. Go look at that. Go listen to that value ladder episode. It really will touch on all of this. But the point of today is don't sit on your butt and hope for the best. Open the can of worms and go dive in. I just open up 5 bank accounts to do this profit first. Accounting method. I talked to Shauna, and she's totally on board with it. I'm actually, I've got a call with the guy, the author of the book, on Friday to kind of just, talk to him a little bit. But yeah, it's not sexy, but I think the outcome of, the final product of having these buckets, it's almost like the old school envelope system. You only spend what's in the envelope and you divide it out. But I think it's going to be cool just to see, and try to get our operational cost in line and our staff payment in line with what he, is a successful, I guess, profitable business. We're already there on a lot of levels, but we're just like our numbers, our ratios are a little off.
Sure.
So I'm excited to kind of do that, but that's what I did with this downtime too.
Yeah, and that's and we look at the business as a whole. Like you kind of touched on a little bit, right? Marketing. We just did an episode on Google, right? As an additional pole in the water. If you didn't hear that one, go listen to that one. You could literally have Google ads running today.
Yep.
But if you're lacking in the acquisition of new clients, look at that. Look at the sales process that you have in place. If your client experience lacks and your training staff just isn't providing the results, okay, maybe that's where you look at some continued education when it comes to the programming and the actual physicalness of the job. But the business systems, accounting, maybe your taxes have been something that you haven't focused on. We work with Shauna. Like, we've got plans for every area of business. Like, we've done the work. Obviously, your facility is a result of that. But the purpose of this episode is to give you guys a kind of a game plan on all these different things that you could be doing right now.
Instead of
just waiting. And I'll tell you, the gyms that come out of this that actually look at this and say, okay, holy shit, the end of my 2020 is actually a big win, are going to be the ones that used all of this to fix all those so that when the people come back into the business.
Yeah. And when we were closed down, we went and we rearranged the gym, we repainted, we, got new equipment. We did a bunch of stuff for the experience. But the one thing that I think anybody can really use this time for is the experience of from the time somebody's a lead all the way till they're on their way out the door. Look at every step, and when I'd say every step, I'm saying like drive into your parking lot and look and see what the sign looks like. Is it dirty outside? Is there cans and crap around? Is there a clear path to the door? When they open the door, what does it smell like? What does it look like? Can you hear the music outside? Can you hear it in the lobby? Is it only in the gym area? What do you want it to be? Are the bathrooms clean? Are the whatever? Is the lighting okay? I know in our first place, we had an architect that put some cool lights in there, but the lights sucked in there.
Yeah, it was always dark.
And it was darker in there, and it was like the girls, the women were like, I can't put up my makeup on here. Like, I'm trying to get ready for work. So when we opened the new place, we made sure we have extra lights in there, and for that reason. So if this, and by the way, none of this has to do with kettlebell swings.
Yeah, exactly.
Or programming or any of that. And that's the thing about this is, like, most gym owners are trainer type brains, and they really focus on the workout and the movement patterns and the that's awesome, but that's like a tenth of
I was gonna say your client experience, like your client's results, are such a small fraction of the business that takes place.
Yeah, and that's the tough part, and it's a tough thing for people to wrap their head around, especially when they're coming from the training floor into a business owner. These are all the little things that you have to focus on, because that's going to make the difference between you and the guy down the street that's also teaching the same kettlebell swings as you.
And at the same time, like, when you guys are coaches, all of us are in that position, right? And so when you're sitting there and you look at your clients and you look at what they do, and in order to give them a better result, you need to go to their weaknesses and you need to start addressing them. That's the same advice we're giving you for your business. It's like increasing the health of your business. You don't go to your client and say, oh man, your diet's impeccable. Let's make that better. No, like, that's not how they're going to get a greater result. You're going to go, okay, but you're not burning shit for calories each week, so let's put some attention here. Like, you always start from the lowest, the area that needs the greatest improvement, and work backwards towards the things that you do successful. Yep. Your business should be the same way. Find those holes.
Yep. And this goes deeper into communication, and do you have automation in place to get them into your Facebook group, and then to download your app, and to make sure that they understand the other profit centers, and at the end of the workout, is it the same thing every time? Is it
systems?
So when they when the coach breaks down the workout, is it everybody bringing in, hey, thank you for your thanks for trusting me with training you today. You did great work. Go make sure you're booked for your next session at the front desk. Like, that has to be all figured out.
Yeah.
And if you just let clients drift off at the end of their session, they're not leaving on a high note. You want to leave them on a high note with everything's kind of in place for the next time they be in. So lots to talk about there. We go over all this stuff in our coaching program, but
I think there's confusion, just to touch on that real quick, because I think there's confusion when we have conversations with clients about, or gym owners, when it comes to systems. When I'm having a breakthrough call with somebody and I'm going through like their process, I ask questions. Like, a lead comes into your organization. What is the process that takes place before, who's reaching out to that client? When is that taking place? What medium are you using? And 9 times out of 10, it's, I'll get an email, or my training team gets an email, and so whenever we have time, we'll get back to that client. And I'm okay, cool. Well, what do you say to that client? Oh, well, it depends on what they say. Well, what do you mean it depends on what they like? This is not a system, guys. This is just a. I don't know. These are some things that you do. I mean, it's not systems unless it's systematized.
I guess an easy way to understand is if it's a system, is it the same thing every time?
Exactly. Is it something that you repeat with every single person in that position every single time? We always talk about like the McDonald's of the world and the Starbucks and these are companies and organizations that have perfected certain processes that all equate to delivering the same exact customer experience to you every single time you go through and experience it. Mm-hmm. That's why they exist. Starbucks is not the best cup of coffee in the world. Dunkin' Donuts is probably not going to be a cup of coffee anymore, thanks COVID. Yeah. But what they've done really, really well is they create the same exact experience so that when I need a cup of coffee, Dunkin' Donuts, 2 minutes, done, boom. This is exactly what I can expect every single time. Yeah. Wash, rinse, repeat. And so that's what we stress so much in your business is it's not just about showing up, opening the doors, and waiting for excited clients to show up. Deliver that same staple experience to every single person that walks through the door, and your business is going to continue to grow. Perfect. But it has to be a system. If it's in your head and it's not written, if your team doesn't know it, and if you have to tell everybody, or if there's variables like whenever we have time, that's not a system.
That's a clue right there.
It's a big one. And to stress it, we know emphatically you've got minutes to reach out to that lead in order to lose them their interest, probably for some time.
Exactly.
But
all right, well, there's your kick in the butt for today. It's a Thursday, so make it your mission today to go and dive into the weaknesses and do something about it. Really, that's really what this is about. Go do something about it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, that's it for this show. Until next episode, keep changing lives. See you. Bye.